One of the 8 major kingdoms of Hyrok, Jehanna sits on the icy shores of Hrothgar. It lays on the border of the western reach of Skyrim as well. Jehanna was founded sometime in either the First Era or earlier before that in the Merathic Era, but what we do know is that it's situated within the lands of the Orcish clan of the Faerûn. Under their control, Jehanna was nothing more than just a small maritime port, or a dock. Throughout the First Era, though, the First Empire of the Nords conquered Jehanna and incorporated it within the Reach, and eventually, the region itself began to grow. Many Nord colonials relocated to the small port and expanded it drastically. However, even under Nordic rule, Jehanna only became somewhat of a minor settlement. But the Drenni hegemony would soon displace the Nordic population, reducing it back to nothing more than a small-time port. Sometime between this relocation of the Nordic population to 864 of the Second Era, Jehanna raised itself to the kingdom status. How this happened is still somewhat of a mystery, but we know this because it appears in the map in the Pocket Guide to the Empire in the first edition. So we do know that it is a major settlement to the point where it was marked down by the Empire. Now, how it became a major settlement too is still unknown. However, I would like to theorize it's probably with its proximity to Skyrim and its earlier incorporation into that empire, which gave it some northeastern trade connections and new opportunities for people to come to and grow in that area. However, Jehanna, like its neighbor Faerûn, did not participate in the Alliance War, so this also probably made it somewhat of a haven for those who did not want to be caught up in the war, as at this time nearly all of Tamriel was engulfed in this area, or engulfed in this conflict. So it's likely that they could have seen some refugees or displaced peoples from this event as well. But once more, we don't really know what happened between this moment and that of the Third Era, kind of like how we didn't know what happened between its initial foundation until it becoming raised as a kingdom. And in the late Third Era, during the Imperial Simulacrum, Jehanna was still an active kingdom or an active settlement, and it was ruled by King Be'dakor, who fought occasional skirmishes against Faerûn, but it never really escalated into anything past that. Nevertheless, though, when the War of the Bender Mock broke out, Jehanna was engulfed in this conflict. At first, it was only the countryside that saw any of the repercussions of this war. However, by the year 399 of the Third Era, Jehanna did fall to the invaders and was under their control for a while. While resistance did valiantly fight back, it was nowhere near enough to push off the Nordic control at this time. Now, Jehanna is strange because we don't really know if the Bretons ever reclaimed the kingdom back from the Nords. It's likely that they did, but what ultimately happens to Jehanna in the Fourth Era is a mystery in itself. We don't know. And I know there's some things coming from the Creation Club that suggest certain things, but I don't really know if I can consider those lore, so I don't really want to necessarily, so I won't cover it in this video, because there are some things that will appear in the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim and the Creation Club that deal with some of the lore bits in the Elder Scrolls 5, or deal with the Jehanna, sorry. But that being said, though, I didn't know if I should necessarily include it, but I'm not. I'm just making a note of it here. Feel free to look into it if you would like. It has to do with the Grey Fox. But it's likely that Jehanna was absorbed into Faerûn's sphere of influence after the warp in the west, as only 5 major kingdoms now remain in Hyrok. And that isn't to say that these cities were reduced to rubble, it just means that they are no longer a city-state that rules independently, or it's not longer, I guess, equivalent to that of a province in Skyrim, because we have, like, not province, a hold in Skyrim. That's a better comparison there, because obviously we have the 8 holds of Skyrim, we have the 8 kingdoms, or city-states of Hyrok. Jehanna in itself is strange, because we don't know too much about it in the first place, and the history we do get is very limited, and it only kind of glosses over things very briefly. It's never really in detail like we get with some of the other areas. Even Faerûn, to an extent, we know some in-depth details about because we are able to see it, but with Jehanna, it's a mystery. We don't really know anything about it. But still, nevertheless, I thought I should cover it. It's not like it's like Morthal, where we have absolutely nothing. We do at least know this place has some history dating back all the way to the first era. But I thought nevertheless I should talk about it. This is kind of the kingdom of the unknown, or the kingdom that's just slighted. It's very strange. I can't. It's like a glossed over area. So I thought nevertheless we should at least cover it and get this one out of the way before we start getting back into the more popular kingdoms. I'm not too sure which ones I have left at this point, but I believe the last couple or last few are some of the bigger areas. So with that, we'll hop into those later on, and plus I have a few other lore videos I also want to discuss later on in the coming weeks. So with that being said, I hope you all enjoyed, and if you guys enjoyed this content, want to see more like it, hit that like button, and obviously if you want to give me some recommendations for future videos, let me know in the comments below or in the Discord chat. It's easier for me to keep track of in the Discord chat, so that link is in the description. Today has been a little rough with the dialogue, I know, or the audio. It's been a little hectic trying to record all this, and it's been kind of difficult to get going today. But with that being said, hope you all enjoyed, and I hope to see you all in the next video. Peace. If you enjoyed, please like this video because it really lets me know you're enjoying this content. And if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. The links are right here for you to click on, and the Discord chat link is right here as well. And overall, I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope to see you in the next video. Peace.